Welcome to Revved Up, the weird and wonderful world of wacky modified motors. Hey! Oh! And coming up later, the punter from Leicester who's gone down with a severe case of Americana. I sort some tasty alloys as Revved Up gets to work on its very own modified motor. And we watch as the owner of this little Renault 5 tests its brake horsepower by seeing if it will rev up to a ludicrous 8,200 RPM. And there's a distinct whiff of garlic in the air down there in Northamptonshire as we team up with the frogs. I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the cars. Anything with an R bolted to it and got a turbo on it will be raced, showed off and shined down here today. Cars like this, little Renault 5 GT Turbo, pushing an incredible 300 brake horsepower. Mental. Here at Centre Pod, Renault Turbo fanatics from all over the UK and even further afield have been vigorously applying the elbow grease since first line. They've been prepping their pride and joys and their cars for the motoring equivalent of Moulin Rouge. The track is awash with Renault 5s, 19s, Meganes.
Probably the best car I've ever owned, actually. Handler's the best. It's the fastest one I've ever owned.
I'm just helping out. This is used to have a motor of my own, and it got stolen and used in an armed robbery as a getaway car.
Where's the inspiration behind this colour? Anything to do with the film Fast and Furious? Because there's some girls. Is that right?
Yeah,
just
it
tweaks,
was. Yeah, it was the most standard Renault 5 we've ever seen when we brought it in.
Really?
It was the original silver, which there wasn't many made of. So my partner, he was very gutted for me to take it and spray it.
Spray it? I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
You took a very rare car and Now, the theme for the day is speed. Everyone's been ragging their motors up and down this quarter-mile strip in an effort to achieve a personal best. But there can only be one Speed King, so we went in search of today's hot favourite. Now, one of the fastest cars down here today is this little wolf in sheep's clothing because it does look like an ordinary Renault 5 GT Turbo, but it belongs to Mike. Now, Mike, you're going to try and do what with it today?
I'm going to try and break my previous record of 12.61 quarter mile.
12.61 over a quarter mile, which is pretty quick. In this, what power output is it?
About 250 horsepower.
250 horsepower out of a little Renault 5 GT Turbo. He's in second. Come on, Mikey. He's in third. God, he's ragging that little car. Listen, it's going to blow up. Go on. And he's through. Fantastic. Listen to that lot. They enjoyed it too as well. He's just gone through. It's tough to see, but it was 12.61, and that's 12.1. So he's knocked half a second off his previous record. Good going, lad. Congratulations, Mike. Everyone was clapping and cheering and going mad. Give us the good news.
Yeah, well, it just ran a 12.1 quarter.
And you just run off and got your little ticket. 12.1. So you beat your previous record by half a second.
Yeah, well, the previous record was pretty good. So we just knocked another half a second off and seeing we can shave another couple of tenths off and getting the 11s later.
You're going again? You're going to try and get the 11s?
Yeah, there's more power in it, yeah.
I was going to say, because the only person you've got to beat there is yourself, isn't it?
Well, yeah, at the moment.
But not everyone hit the big time. This nice-looking Clio just can't take the pressure. Oh dear, it's come over all incontinent at the start line. You got it all warmed up, I see you preparing the car, and then what went wrong?
It's a Renault, isn't it?
That's all I can say.
It's a Renault.
So we got a little pool of oil
Yeah.
spreading backwards to the car. What do you think it is?
I think it's power steering by the smell of it.
Power steering. Does it have a smell of your fingers?
Fisher.
I was going to say something else then. Now, in the spirit of European unity, the French have to be applauded for giving us these little Renaults to mod. But the influences on the UK modified motor scene aren't just European, they're global. So how about this? Now, it's always nice to show off to your mates about how big yours is, but we're talking about brake horsepower here and how big your car is. Now, this is Pete, he's from 4 Racing. Now, Pete, you have got this rolling road down there, and that's kind of nice because people can come down, you hear them standing around chatting to each other saying, yeah, mine pushes out 300 brake horsepower.
They bring it down there, it does 100 brake horsepower, and they go away with their tails between their legs. Now, the bloke who owns this car, I think he's standing here. Is that you, mate? What's your name?
Mark.
Mark, how you doing? I just shook your hand and look at the state of him. Now, I couldn't help but notice there's a lot of drive belts in this car. What's that all about then?
Keeps throwing them off. Keeps just throwing them off.
It's so powerful,
I don't know, it might be just something to do with your tyres out of line, I don't know. It just keeps doing it, but I planned ahead.
So, what's the brake horsepower of your car, or so you think?
Fingers crossed, 200.
200 brake horsepower?
Maybe.
This car, what, it normally spins up to about 6,000 RPM, is it?
The red line begins at 6,000 RPM normally on these vehicles, and we would take them between 200 and 300 RPM of the red line. But the customer assures me that this car will go to 8,002.
It will spin up to 8,200 RPM.
Yeah.
So a little bit like a Japanese motorcycle engine is what he thinks it's going to do.
Yes, he thinks so.
So is it wise for me to be standing nearby, or shall I go and find a comfy spot behind a wall, away from here, when it makes the big bang noise?
Yeah, just out of the vicinity.
Out of the vicinity. Okay, I'll stand behind the cameraman. That's safe, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, good luck.
Okay.
Wait for it. Right, come on. No, don't disappear. You've got to stand here and witness this. Does it take long to do you know? It'd be nice if it started.
Oh yeah, it helps.
Right, you can see that wisely I've chose to stand downwind and as far away as possible from that car, because it's now up to 3,000 RPM. Nervous?
A little bit.
3,000, 4,000, I can see it from here. 6,000, God, it's noisy. And 8,000 RPM, and he shut the engine off. So that was it, fella. Got to wait and see now what the result's going to be like.
The smoke clears.
Wait until the smoke clears. It sounded like it was going to blow up for 1 minute. Is that all your work in the engine, making it spin up that far?
Yeah.
It is.
It's just a bit nerve-wracking just watching it, you know.
Right, so you've done the run there, Pete. We stood back at a safe distance because it sounded like it was going to blow up. Right, have you got a result? Have you got some news? Before you give the result, you thought it had 200 brake horsepower, right? And we told this lot it had 200 brake horsepower. So what has it got?
Well, I'll take my hat off to the man. It's got 198 at the wheels, which is 233 horsepower.
Yay! 233 brake horsepower. Yay! Back on the strip, Mike's still the undisputed champ of the day, but I spotted something that might just turn the tables. Get the camera off of that. Look at this. Look, this is more like it. This is the new Megane, and I'm used to driving new cars, aren't I? And this is lovely. This is a 2 litre. It looks like it's got some tricky bits. Look at the rear lights. They're a bit smart. Some tricky bits. Who does it belong to then? Is it yours?
To me it is.
Name?
David from
David,
Cassette Racing.
how are you? This is a bit smart, isn't it, mate?
Yes. This is the new Megane 225 Sport that Renault have just released. It's got a 2 litre 16 valve turbocharged engine. We've done a dump valve under the bonnet, put a free flow exhaust on it.
Now, I've driven quite a few of these in my time, but I've not driven one with a free flow exhaust and a dump valve. Any chance of having another little spin?
As long as you promise to give it as much stick as possible.
Oh, I like your talk, fella. Thank you very much. Well, this is it. This is a nice surprise for me because I've managed to blag a perfectly good Renault Megane that's only got a free flow exhaust on it. Other than that, is perfectly standard, and take it for a drag up the Santa Pod Strip, European's finest. And I'm looking forward to this. The only problem is they've thrown the gauntlet down, and they say they can do it in around 14.7 seconds, and I don't know if I can. So wish me luck. Now this is all about getting prepared for my little go up the drag strip. What you've got to do is you've got to get your car in this little box here. And you've got to burn your tyres on. And what that does, that builds heat up into the tyres, and it makes your tyres more sticky. So hopefully that'll give you better traction away from the line. Wait for that light to go. And there we go, that's the green light away. And it's quick, it's rapid. I'm in second gear, missed third gear a little bit, I snatched at that, I shouldn't have done. Already doing 80 miles an hour, fourth gear, through the line, I got beaten by a little Renault 5, don't know what my time was, because it all happens in the blink of an eye, very exciting. I love it. See, now I understand why the little kids put these little valves on their cars and go. They sound like they're farting every 20 yards. But I understand it. It's all about making the car sound and feel different than it actually is. And you listen to this on the gear change, it's... I mean, what's all that about? It really doesn't make a difference to performance, but actually, It's quite horny. I kind of like it. Very good.